Yes, gel-lytes, it's been a minute, but I'm back and I'm going to do something a little different. I want to talk about Action Bronson. Yeah, he's a very controversial person when it comes to the world of sneakers. I'm going to tell you exactly why he gave away his entire New Balance collection of over 500 pairs, what happened with his Adidas Collab and why it got cancelled, and exactly what happened with Michael Jordan to make him vow never to wear a Nike Air Jordan again. So let's go. So if you don't know, Action Bronson is an American rapper hailing from Queens, New York, and came up in the early 2000s during the mixtape era. Yeah, he's probably better known these days for his food show F That's Delicious on Vice Media. Now, his mum originally got him into sneakers and mainly running shoes as she had a reoccurring knee injury, so he was introduced to models like the New Balance 990s and Air Max 95s from an early age, already putting him on a different course from the typical sneakerhead from Queens. When his mum brought home a pair of the Air Max Nomos, he permanently borrowed them, and from that day forth he was hooked. As an only child, he's come out as saying he was really spoiled growing up and always got the latest Jordans or Barclays or whatever was popping at the time from either his mum or his doting cousin. In various interviews or social media posts, we've seen some of his favourites, where he's also mentioned the Dunk Low Jedi as one of his favourite colourways of all time, and we frequently see him in the Nike Skyline 2s when he's doing his little workouts. While he said in the past that the Ultra Boost are his favourite shoe for on-stage performing, and we've seen him in loads of pairs of Solar Yellows and the Reds, and we've seen numerous pics of his 500 plus New Balance collection that he used to post on social media. Following in his mum's footsteps, his New Balance addiction started way back in the 90s when he first saw the 587 in navy and grey. And his favourite New Balance sneaker of all time is the Concepts 999 Kennedy that he wore in the Strictly For My Jeeps music video along with the Asics gel-lyte 3 Knicks. But that all changed when it came out that New Balance founder Jim Davis had made a considerable donation of $400,000 to the Donald Trump's presidency campaign. Bronson later said on Full Size Run that after hearing that, he gave away his entire 500 plus collection to friends and family and was just done with the brand. Then later in 2018, rumours and images started to emerge of an Action Bronson Adidas Ultra Boost collab. Yeah, they look proper sick to be fair, with one pair in these brown hues and another in this tree camouflage print with bright neon orange accents. At the time, he even gifted a pair to Joe LaPuma on Sneaker Shopping and featured them on his GQ interview as part of the pre-release sort of promotion. But for some reason, they never released, and when he was asked about it on Full Size Run, all he did was slate John Wexler and just said Adidas is fucking shitty people, which is a real shame because they were proper nice. And then when he was asked if he'd ever do another collab, he said he would consider it with Asics, but just doesn't want to get involved and pretty much burnt out from the whole Adidas experience. So what actually happened with Michael Jordan, and why does Action Bronson refuse to wear his shoes? Like I said, Bronson was a kid from Queens and got spoiled by his family, so he had plenty of J's growing up, and he even wore the patent leather 11s to his granddad's funeral. And in 2014, he even featured in a Jordan campaign paying tribute to Derek Jeter's retirement from baseball. So everything seemed pretty normal until his first appearance on Sneaker Shopping in 2016, where he refused to stand by the Jordan section, saying, "Nah, let's stay away from there, I don't do those kicks. Nowadays they've become the go-to shoe for every human being and I just can't do it. I don't like the quality of them, I don't like the look of them anymore, something changed about it, the nostalgia isn't there for me. It became more of a circus shoe in my opinion." And also, he'd previously tweeted in 2012, "If you're a Knicks fan and wear Jordans, you're on timeout." But to be fair, that isn't really anything unusual, as sort of Knicks fans are known for hating on MJ because he practically ruined any chance of them winning a championship back in the 90s. So during that same episode of Complex Sneaker Shopping, he also told LaPuma, "I have a personal issue with Mike. We didn't hit it off when we met. He looked at me as probably a little shit, and he's like 7 foot and could dunk on me with his nuts on my head. So he couldn't care less about me, we just didn't hit it off." So it seems that Bronson met Mike at a Jordan brand 30th anniversary in February 2014 at the 23 Wall Street in New York City. Around the same time, Bronson had been in the Derek Jeter campaign and was there to sort of catch up with Jeter, I suppose, as they were in town. So supposedly Action went out of his way to introduce himself to Mike, who gave him a very brief and weak handshake while walking off, which Bronson found extremely disrespectful, and you can take this either way, but it must have been pretty blunt and obvious because Bronson said that he had to talk his mate Oakley out of trying to choke Michael Jordan. So to this day, I think Bronson still has only 2 pairs of Jordans in his collection, one being the Carhartt M&M that his manager Paul Rosenberg gifted him, and he said that he would sell it if he ever fell on hard times, and the other being the Derek Jeter Jordan 1 that he was obviously given for the campaign and said he'd never let go because it's Derek Jeter and he's obviously a big fan. And then the only other time he was seen in Jordans when he was forced to wear the Jordan 13 cleats for a celebrity all-star baseball game, but he did actually ask if he could tape over the logo. But I guess they wouldn't allow it, and this is probably the last picture you'll ever see of Bronson wearing a Jordan. So it must be true what they say: never meet your idols.